Okay, I'm Paul St. Clair. I'm your professor for History 117, World History 2, and for History HIS 131, U.S. History 2. And I thought it would be easier to transfer last semester's Blackboard courses to this semester, but I realized every date has to be changed, all sorts of statements have to be changed, and I didn't really leave myself enough time to do that. So I'm going to enable the courses. You'll be able to see them in a brief while as soon as I upload this video, this introductory welcoming video. And but the stuff that you'll see in the assignments, the dates, the due dates, that kind of stuff is not correct. I'll get it straightened out by Wednesday. But you can see the textbook that we're going to be using. You can see the first week's assignment. For 131, it's Reconstruction. For 117, I think it's Global Encounters or something like that. Whatever the first chapter is. We'll just go chapter by chapter. The reading is the basic work of this course. And I know unless I quiz people, some of you aren't going to do the reading, and that's something I've come to live with. There won't be quizzes. That's like way too much work. So if you're interested, you'll do the reading, or some of the reading, or all of the reading. And if you're not, you'll figure out how to get a decent grade anyway, you know. Just a few things. I'm not an expert by any means in Blackboard. I first encountered it with me doing it last spring in the middle of the semester in March. We just broke and shut down, and they said, "Here, teach the class with Blackboard." And it was like being handed a clarinet when you've never played the clarinet before, and being asked to play Rhapsody in Blue, and basically, I maybe I play other instruments, but I've never played the clarinet before, and I was like, yeah, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and they wanted Rhapsody in Blue, and that wasn't possible. Last semester was a little bit better, but not great. I set up. I planned to have discussion sections, and then didn't realize that I had to be in the discussion sections constantly, or regularly at least, and so that was kind of a bust. Blackboard has some great features that I have not really learned to use yet. Ensemble, which allows me to lecture with graphs, and I don't have much graphs, but illustrations and stuff like that. Okay, and Collaborate, which is sort of like Zoom, where it would be face to face, but none of these I can't really schedule any of these and make sure you're there. So last semester I remember thinking, what does attendance mean? I don't know what attendance means. This semester I may work out a plan. I may ask you to at least send me a course message once a week. Just say, "Hello, Professor, I'm still alive, and I'm trying to do the reading." That would be enough to, check that box. You're here, okay? Speaking of course messages, I give you my email address on the syllabus, but I would prefer that we keep the course messages separate from the emails. Okay, for two reasons. One, it just makes my life less complicated, and if you send me a message in course messages, I know immediately what section of which course you're in. Whereas if you send me an email and say, "Professor, blah, 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 blah," and don't tell me which course or which section, or you tell me the course but not the section, I have to go looking for you, and that's That's hard to do. It makes it more difficult. If you do send me an email, please put the course History 131 or 117 and the section number, which would be Y05 or something like that. Okay. There's lots of stuff on the course from last semester. How to do paper assignments and that kind of things. I started off last semester thinking I would do 3 papers, but that's unmanageable, I think. I'm going to scale that down. I haven't made up my mind about discussions. I'm willing to try it again because I think it sort of worked. It needed more moderation. Okay. So right now we're in a little bit of a flux, and partly that's due to the. I get distracted when there's insurrections in my country, and so you have to forgive me for that. As a historian, I'm supposed to be focused on the past, but right now the present is pretty fraught with important events, so I get distracted. But give me a couple of days and I'll have it all straightened out. Certainly by next Monday, we'll be sailing. We'll be smooth as silk. I did have last semester. I did have a non-graded discussion section that seemed to be pretty popular, like with just people getting to know one another, and that seemed to work pretty well. And if I don't manage to transfer that, I'll set that up in a day or two anyway, just to have a place where you could go. I don't think I'll play much role in it, but you can go and chat with other students. Maybe they're from your high school, maybe they're from your town on Long Island, maybe they're from wherever. Maybe they do cheerleading, maybe they play hockey, who knows, I noticed that was a good thing last semester. Let me just throw out a few thoughts about history, because this is important. Students have told me in the past they don't like history, it's their worst subject. It's all names and dates, they say. And the thing is, in this day and age where all of us have I don't have my phone with me, but all of us have a phone, all of the names and dates are on that phone. You don't have to think about them anymore, okay? And history was never about names and dates. Maybe, somebody in the 4th grade was teaching you history, the 5th grade, 6th grade, and they wanted to break it down to just names and dates. If you could get, if you get the names and the dates, then they thought that was history. There's a long-standing joke among world history professors that if my students know the difference between Martin Luther and Martin Luther King Jr., then I've done my job, but that's not really true. History is much more about what causes these events, what are the repercussions of these events, what kinds of decisions led to these events, what are the changes in lifestyle, all those kinds of things. You take an event like the Pearl Harbor, the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. I happen to know the date because I'm a history nerd. December 7th, 1941. That's the least interesting part of that event. March 13th, 1836. Anybody know what that is? Remember the Alamo. I know these dates because I'm a history professor. It's my occupation. But that's the least interesting part about the Alamo or Pearl Harbor, the date that it happened. April 14th, 1865. What's that? It's the assassination of Lincoln. I just saw a thing where his brother Edwin had a building in Manhattan, and he was an actor like John Wilkes Booth, and they were joking about how people that complain about their siblings can't complain about their siblings around Edwin Booth because his brother killed Abraham Lincoln. You just can't you can't complain about them not paying you back the $10 they owed you. Okay, um, like Pearl Harbor. Why did the Japanese attack? Was it crazy? It's seemingly crazy from a military point of view, but it was a successful attack. Why didn't anybody on the American side realize that that was a possibility, that they could be attacking Hawaii? Well, partly because it was a crazy idea. They didn't think the Japanese were that crazy. And one of the most interesting things is that all of the aircraft carriers were out on exercises. They were out doing these exercises. So we didn't lose any aircraft carriers at Pearl Harbor, which are the heart of the Pacific Fleet. Okay, and there's all sorts of questions. Did FDR know about? Did he have advance notice that the attack was going to take place? Those are the interesting questions, not the date, not the name Pearl Harbor. No. So I like to teach history. It's a little bit of it's not a whitewash. I won't be whitewashing U.S. history. I won't be whitewashing world history. And I won't be too concerned with dates and stuff. More the like forces behind different things and that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to upload this now and add it to the course materials that are there, and then I think I'm going to probably go to bed, and within a day or two I'll have it all. The dates will all be right. There won't be any October or November dates. They'll all be February, March, April dates. All right. If you have any questions, you can send me a course message once the course is enabled, and we'll go from there. I should have brought the books. The U.S. History course is The Unfinished Nation, Volume 2. I think they're up to the 9th edition, by Alan Brinkley. You can use an earlier, if they're up to the 9th, you can use the 8th or the 7th even, if you can get it online. I wouldn't go earlier than that. Okay? And it's a small book. It's not a gigantic, it's not like that one in your senior year of high school. It's got the eagle and the flag on the cover and the Statue of Liberty and all that. And it's 6,000 pages. It's much smaller than that. And that's your basic work, doing the reading in that book. Okay, and it's not like reading a fun novel or anything like that. And I know reading isn't a part of most of your lifestyles. But what are you going to do? You're in college now, and we're asking you to read. For the world history class, it's Traditions and Encounters. Again, Volume 2, and I think it's a brief edition. I should check on that. But the information is in the syllabus. That part is correct. Some of the dates are off, and exactly what we'll be doing as far as assignments are off. But the book information is correct. All right. So there. Hopefully I'll be able to get one of these, collaborate Zoom meeting kind of things together. So by the end of last semester, I was kind of feeling like, well, I know some of these people from from interactions that we had about their papers or due dates or stuff like that. But it'd really be nice to just see who people were. That's all. All right. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you again soon.